Hey everybody, this is Christopher Brower here with the Daily Motor, and today we're driving the craziest car of the year, the 2022 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392 with the Extreme Recon package. I drove this car at the Mama Rally back in October and I was absolutely blown away, and I'm so happy that we finally have one back here at the Daily Motor HQ. I emerged from the experience thinking that may well be the most insane vehicle I've ever driven. So today we're hopefully going to confirm what I experienced back in October, but this one, in my opinion, is even better because it's finished in, wait for it, Firecracker Red. Yes, leave it to Stellantis to give their red color such a name as Firecracker. But look at this thing, it's so proper in red. If any car was meant to be red, it's this one. So as I mentioned, this car has the Extreme Recon package, which makes this 392 Wrangler even more ridiculous. We've got 35-inch BF Goodrich KO2 tires. It sits 1.5 inches higher than a normal Wrangler Rubicon, and the axle ratio is slightly different to compensate for these bigger tires. A couple other things that'll tell you that this is the 392 Wrangler. For one, you've got these gold tow hooks on the front. They're not super bright, crazy gold, but they are gold. Also, 392 badges here on the hood. A massive hood scoop right in the middle. That just works for me. That is excellent. Matching 392 badge over here. We also got gold on our Rubicon badge, gold on the Jeep badge, gold wheels, and some more gold tow hooks in the back. And if you squat down and look closely, you'll see quad exhaust tips coming out of the back of this thing, and boy does it sound absolutely ridiculous. It's, for some reason, has a key even though it's a push button start. But listen to this thing start, okay? It's just so silly. I mean, the fact that this car exists in 2022 is just the coolest thing ever, and I wish Ford would follow suit with the Bronco, because like a Coyote powered Bronco, that'd be crazy, but it guarantee you it wouldn't be as crazy as this thing. Oh, hold on. We took this thing to an off-road park the other day, and Charlie like sat in something and then sat on the seat, and then water got in and all this stuff. So the interior is not in pristine condition, but it's a Jeep Wrangler. This is how it should be. Black leather seats in here with gold stitching. Back seat is not really the nicest place to be in a Wrangler, but you know, we'll gloss over it because it has a Scat Pack engine. We've got some USB ports down here, as well as just a normal wall outlet. Window switches right here in the middle, of course, for when you take the doors off this thing. All right, let's move up to the front. Maybe the shortest backseat tour I've ever done. That is just hilarious. We've got wired Apple CarPlay up here. Go ahead and plug that in so you can all see what that looks like. Fits the screen pretty well, and then on the bottom we actually still have all of our infotainment menus. So if you want to just go back to your normal Stellantis infotainment, you're able to do that right at the bottom, but I like to keep it in CarPlay. As far as other touches unique to the Wrangler 392, up here we've got that gold stitching on our steering wheel, as well as paddle shifters. And my favorite part of the interior, these embossed Rubicon 392 badges right on the seats. I think that looks absolutely epic. Gold stitching continues through the armrest, through the parking brake, the shifter, and the four-wheel drive selector. This Wrangler 392 is a little bit different than some other Wranglers. It has full-time four-wheel drive, so you cannot put this thing into two-wheel drive. We also have part-time 4-high and 4-low. It's all done with this manual shifter thing over here, which is very hard to operate. Other Jeep Wrangler things: off-road plus, sway bar disconnect, diff locks, auxiliary ports here to wire in light bars and additional fog lights or something. There's our media port for our Apple CarPlay. Nicely laid out climate control panel here with actual physical controls and knobs. Got a button here for our performance exhaust. I think we'll roll with that on so you guys can hear this thing the whole time I drive. Heated seat, heated steering wheel. Let's turn our vent down here so it's not all you guys can hear the whole time. All right, no more interior tour. Let's take this thing out on the road so you guys can experience what I believe to be the craziest car of 2021, even though technically today is 2022. We still got the car in 2021, so I'm still gonna give it that title. This 8-speed ZF is the only available transmission with the Wrangler 392. No 6-speed manual. You can't bang your own gears in this thing with a clutch pedal. You can though with these steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. And I can't wait to get out here on the road because this thing is just so hilarious. Oh, all right. We're gonna go manual mode at first. All right, here we go. Okay, as you just saw there, the paddle shifters have like a 1.5 second delay. But this thing does the very, very iconic ZF 8-speed fart in between gears, and it's just the most spectacular thing ever. I'll leave it in auto this time. You only get those farts if you're in manual mode. If you're in auto, it actually shifts very smooth and clean. Oh my gosh. You really have to try to keep this thing on the road too. Those KO2s paired with the just very loose Wrangler steering, plus this V8, it's just so silly. Ah! Oh man. Stellantis, please never change. Never change. So that V8 up front, that is Stellantis's. Pretty iconic at this point. 6.4 liter naturally aspirated V8. And in this Wrangler, it makes 470 horsepower and 470 foot-pounds of torque, which means that this Jeep Wrangler can go 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, and it can run the quarter mile in 13. And a Wrangler, a Jeep Wrangler. And it's so fun. I mean, it's really terrible to try and keep this thing in between the lines going down the road. I mean, look how much play I have in the steering. This is a brand new 2022 vehicle, and I can go like this, and it doesn't steer. But that's part of the flair of this car. That's what makes it so ridiculous and so entertaining. And the delay in between the shifts and having to really pull the paddle at about 4,500 RPM if you want to get that really satisfying snap in your gear change. Not even going to try a fast corner because I'm scared to. Oh, oh yes. And then sometimes on the down rev you get little pop pop, little pops and burbles. This feels like it was made by a mad scientist. They took a Scat Pack, cut it apart, took a Wrangler, cut it apart, put the Scat Pack motor in the Wrangler and changed nothing else. Oh, this is the kind of cars that we need in our modern society when everything's so boring and silver and just crossover-y. Oh, this is just epic. I mean, seriously. Oh! Yes! Oh, man. Okay. Alright, let's go back into drive for a second. I am just having way too much fun. What else do I even say about this? The engine The 8-speed, it all speaks for itself. This thing is just seriously out of this world in fun factor. I mean, I've driven a lot of cars this year. I've driven a lot of loud cars, cars that sound good. I've driven a lot of fast cars, but I've not driven anything with this level of excitement and fear and just rawness. It's so raw. It's so loud in here. It sounds like they're pumping the exhaust through the cabin, but not through the speakers, through some tube in the back, so you get to experience all the carbon monoxide as well. Oh no. Right, highway entrance ramp. I apologize in advance, but I'm going to go probably about 30 miles an hour around here because, for one, it's wet. 2, I'm in the scariest car I've ever driven. And 3, I'm on 35-inch KO2s and a lifted suspension. So, and wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Yeah, you see? Oh! The whole car lifts up and pulls to the right when you floor it at speed. It's so scary and just exhilarating. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on, highway stuff. Well, we do have some driver assist, but who cares because we're in this vehicle. Yes, so we have that and we can set it. Oh no, cruise control ready. So we have adaptive cruise, but we don't have any sort of lane keep assist, which is fitting because it's so hard to keep this thing between the lanes. The computer would just be thinking the whole time and it probably wouldn't work properly. So it's okay that we don't have anything like that in this Wrangler. Oh my gosh. Brake pedal, well, it's definitely there. It's a little soft and vague, but soft and vague is just how this car is. Blinking traction control light there. We got to run through the off-road section. Actually, let's start it up here. Oh, is this it right here? This is it right here. Okay. I want to take this time to show off 4 low, because 4 low, obviously, is low range, and it makes the gears much shorter, which means you'll be going 5 miles an hour revved at like 4,000 RPM. All right, now you have to take this manual selector, move it over and down. Ow, and I've smashed my funny bone on the center console. That was not comfy. Okay, you have to be strong and burly to move that thing into 4 low. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of a takeoff here and hopefully demonstrate how much the front end of this thing lifts up upon acceleration, because it is absolutely ridiculous. All right, we're gonna stay in automatic mode here because I don't wanna deal with the silly delayed paddle shifters, but here we go. Oh! Oh, it's such a rush and just so silly. And I also don't know how the wipers work. Okay, anyways. So then, what about price on this Wrangler Rubicon 392? Well, the base car starts at $76,000, and if you get one like this with the Extreme Recon package, that adds $4,000. It's about 80 grand. This is an $80,000 out of the bag, out of the box standard Jeep Wrangler, and that's pretty hilarious. But you have to remember that Rubicons in general are already really expensive with all of this leather and off-road tech. So paying $76,000, you know, I could probably do without the Extreme Recon. It might actually drive a little bit better. If you don't plan on doing super technical extreme off-roading, I don't really see why you would need that package. I'm gonna go quiet mode for the rest of this just so I can kind of sum up my thoughts here. You know, as ridiculous as $76,000 to $80,000 seems for this Jeep, I would pay it. I just would. I would pay the price because, to me, having something with this much character, this much soul and emotion, something that can make me smile and laugh the whole way around this test route, like, you can't put a price on that. I mean, $1 million. You could tell, okay, maybe not $1 million. They could charge 6 figures for this, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's pretty fair. That's how much I love this thing. And I don't like Jeep Wranglers. Like, I really don't. I would never own any Jeep Wrangler except this one. It's the only Jeep Wrangler I'd own, because otherwise I'd just have a Ford Bronco, because I think they're better in every single way. But even if Ford put a Coyote V8 in a Bronco, I don't think it would be as good as this, because it wouldn't be as raw. It wouldn't have as much character. And that's why I love Stellantis vehicles, is because they don't care. They just put it all out there. I mean, I drove a Hellcat Red Eye the same day I drove the first 392 Wrangler. And that car had no traction until like 5th gear. I mean, it was really undrivable. Like, even with traction control on. I don't know how people don't just crash those, how all of them aren't just crash, but there's just this special flair about FCA Stellantis vehicles that you don't get with other cars, and I just love it. I love this Jeep. It's the only Jeep I've ever loved. It's the only Wrangler I've ever loved. Because if you get a Wrangler without the 392, it's still really bad to drive, but you don't have all that fun and flair of the 6.4 liter V8. Oh! Which is still loud when you're in quiet mode, so. Well, what a fun car, and what a great way to wrap up 2021. You're watching this in 2022, but I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better car to wrap up this year. This has been just one of the most wonderful years of my life, and I'm so happy I've been able to share it with all you guys on Daily Motor, on the Topher, on Winding Road, on my personal Topher drives, and oh man, I love special cars, and this one will always have a special place in my heart. All right, everyone, well, sadly, that is going to wrap up and conclude my review of one of my favorite cars of this year, the 2022 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392. Everyone makes fun of me when I talk about how much I love this Jeep, and none of them have ever driven one, so I mean, their point's not really valid, but what a car. All right, everyone. Let's do one last little walk around to this thing. Let's see how muddy I got it. I don't think I would have gotten it too muddy. Oh, I did. Well, hold on. Oh, no, it's not bad. Very low levels of mud. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing to Daily Motor and making this possible so we can share experiences like this together. I know I've said it a million times, but seriously, top 5 cars of this year. This thing's ridiculous. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. It's been an absolutely wonderful drive in this car. This has been Christopher Brower with Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.